Today we're going to be going through CollegeBoards Practice Test 1 Math Calculator section. Let's get started. The first question says, John runs at different speeds as part of his training program. The graph shows his target heart rate at different times during his workout. On which interval is the target heart rate strictly increasing, then strictly decreasing? So let's look at the answer choices and check. So the first one is between 0 and 30 minutes, which is here. It shows that it's increasing and then it stabilizes out. So that's not going to be it. Between 40 and 60 minutes, that's going to be right here. Here it shows that it's increasing and then it strictly decreases, and that's exactly what it asks for. So B is going to be the answer. Question 2. If y equals kx, where k is a constant, and y equals 24 when x equals 6, what is the value of y when x equals 5? So first let's solve for k. So it says when y equals 24, x equals 6 times k. So we can divide by 6 and we'll get that k equals 4. So it says what is the value of y when x equals 5? So we can do this. Y equals, we figured out k is 4, so 4 times 5, and that's 20. So that's going to be C. Question 3 says, in the figure above, lines L and M are parallel, and the lines S and T are parallel. If the measure of 1 is 35, what is 2? So here is 1, and tells us that it's equal to 35. 2 is over here. You can see that 2 is going to be equal to this one, but if you want to do this question quickly, you can just see that 2 is obtuse, which is more than 90 degrees, and none of the other answer choices have anything below 90 degrees. So you can already figure out that the answer is going to be D. But if you do want to solve for it, you can do 180 minus 35, since one line is 180, and you'll get this equals to 145, and these two are parallel, and you'll still get 145. Question 4, it says, if 16 plus 4x is 10 more than 14, what is the value of 8x? So 10 more than 14 is equal to 24. So we have 16 plus 4x equals 24. You can subtract 16, and we'll get 4x equals 8. So to get the value of x, we can divide by 4, and we'll get that x equals 2. But remember, the question is asking for 8x, not the value of x. So we plug 8, and then we can plug in 2 equals 16. So we'll get C for 4. Question 5 is asking, which of the following best shows a strong negative association? So negative means that it's going to be going down. The graph is going to be declining. So that can be shown by A and D. But strong means that the points are going to show a strong relationship to each other. So that's going to be D. As you can see, it forms more of a linear pattern than this one, A. So D is going to be the answer for that one. A hospital stores one type of medicine in a 2-decagram container. Based on the information given in the box above, how many 1 milligram doses are there in one 2-decagram container? So using this table up here, we can figure out that 2 decagrams is going to be equal to 20 grams, because you're just multiplying each one by 2. And then 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams. So we can get that equation, 1,000 equals 1, and multiply each side by 20 since we have 20 grams. So 1,000 times 20 is going to get you to 20,000. Question 7 says the number of rooftops with solar panel installations in 5 cities is shown in the graph above. If the total number of installations is 27,500, what is an appropriate label for the vertical axis of the graph? So the first thing I would do on a graph is label each bar. That's 9, 5, 6, 4, and 3. Then I would add those all up and I would get 14, 20, 24, 27. So, and it says that it's 27,500. Oh, yeah, and this is 3.5, so that makes sense. 27.5. How would we get this 27.5 to equal 27.5 thousand? So we would have just multiplied by 1,000, and that would get us that. So the answer would be C, number of installations in thousands, because that's what we'd have to multiply it by to get each one to total 27,500. Question 8 is asking, for what value of n is n minus 1 plus 1 equal to 0? The absolute value of n minus 1. So the absolute value is always going to be positive, right? Because it's the number of distance from 0. It's the distance from 0, but it's always going to be the positive distance. So the absolute value can never be negative. And this says plus 1 equals 0. So that means we would have to get this side to equal to negative 1. N minus 1. But we know that this can never be negative, so there's no such value of n. Question 9 and 10 are from this following information. The speed of a sound wave in air depends on the air temperature. The formula above shows the relationship between A, the temperature of a sound wave in feet per second, and T, the air temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. Which of the following expresses the air temperature in terms of the speed of a sound wave? So it's asking us to solve for T. So here we have this, we use this equation, and we have to make it equal to T. So we have A equals 1052 plus 1.08 T. So first we subtract by 1052 to get A minus 1052 equals 1.08 T. From there we just have to divide by 1.08 to cancel it out on this side, and then we get T. So this is going to be your answer, and the one closest, the one that represents that one, is going to be A. It says here, at which of the following air temperatures would the speed of sound wave be closest to 1,000 feet per second? So for this, we just take the equation given above, this first one, and we're going to have to just set A equal to 1,000. So we'll get 1,000 equals 1052, what was it, plus 1.08 T. 08 T. From there we subtract 1052, and you get negative 52 equals 1.08 T. And then you just divide 52 by 1.08 to get your answer, and that's going to be equal to B if you use a calculator. (11) is asking which of the following numbers is not a solution of the inequality. So for this, we'll just first subtract 3x from both sides. So we have negative 5 is greater than or equal to x minus 3, and then we can just add the 3 to the other side. So we'll get from there we'll get negative 2 is less than or equal to x. So that means the answers can be negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, continue on. Which means negative 1 can't be the answer because it has to be less than negative 2. Here it's asking, based on the histogram above of the following, which of the following is close to the arithmetic mean of each apple? So first, what I like to do is label the graphs. We have 2 of these, 4 of these, 1 of these, 2 of these, and 3 of these, and then we can list it out if that makes it easier. Number of seeds, we have 3 apples with 2 seeds. We have 4 apples with 5. 1, 4, 5. And we have 1 apple with 6. We have 2 apples with 7. And we have 3 apples with 9. That's gonna, if you add all these up, it's gonna equal to 72. And then to get the mean, we'll just divide it by the total number of apples, which is 12. So 72 divided by 12 is 6. So the correct answer is gonna be C. This question says a group of 10th grade students responded to a survey that asked which math course they were currently enrolled in. The survey data were broken down as shown in the table above. Which of the following categories accounts for approximately 19% of all survey responders? So for this question, you're going to have to use a calculator. Females taking geometry. So it's out of the total, right? So females taking geometry is 53 over 310. So if you do that, the answer is going to be 17%. So that's not going to be it. And you keep doing this until you do males taking geometry, which is 59 over 310. It's obviously higher than 53, so it's going to be higher than 17%. And the rest of them are lower than 53, which was 17%, and we're trying to get 19. So C is going to be the answer. For question 14, it says the table above lists the lengths to the nearest inch of a random sample of 21 brown bullhead fish. The outlier measurement of 24 inches is an error. Of the mean, median, and range of the values listed, which will change the most if the 24-inch measurement is removed from the data? So taking one out from the top is not going to change the median and mean too much. It might change the mean a little bit, but what will be changed the most would be the range, because the range is the biggest value minus the smallest, which is 16. But if you took it out, then it would be 8, which is a pretty big change compared to the other two. So for 14, C would be the right answer. Question 15 says, the graph above displays the total cost C in dollars of renting a boat for 8 hours. What does the C represent? What does the C intercept represent in the graph? So the C intercept is when H equals 0, which is right here. And if you read the graph, that's the cost right here. And you haven't spent any time on the boat because you're at 0. So that's probably going to be the initial cost of renting the boat, since you haven't used it yet, but you have to pay like a base fee. 16 is asking which of the following represents the relationship between H and C. And you already see that there's an intercept here, so there's gonna have to be an intercept on the graph of the equation. So it's gonna have to have a +5. Then you can try plugging in 0. You can try plugging in 1. So it's gonna have to be equal to 8. So you plug in 3, 1 plus 5 equals 8 here. If you do that on B, it's not gonna work. So for 16, C is the right answer. This one says the complete graph of the function f is shown in the xy plane above. For what value of x is the value of f of x at its minimum? So first, looking at f of x, you can see that the minimum is this point right here. And to get to that point, you're going to have to look for the x value that corresponds. So that's -1, -2, -3. -3 corresponds to the minimum value. So the answer for that is going to be -3b. This one says, in the xy plane, if 0, 0 is a solution to the system, which of the following must be true about the relationship of A and B? So let's plug those in first. We have 0 is greater than, or 0 is less than 0 plus A. And then we have 0 is greater than 0 plus B. So to make these equal, we know that A is gonna have to be a negative. A is gonna have to be a positive number to make this bigger. So A is gonna be equal to positive, and to make this equal, B is gonna have to be negative. So that means that A is gonna be greater than B, which is 18A. Alright, so for number 19, it says a food truck sells salads for $6.50 and drinks for $2 each. The food truck's revenue from selling a total of 209 salads and drinks in one day was $836.5. How many salads were sold that day? So we'll set X equal to salads and Y equal to drinks. And from there we can do X plus Y, because the total number of salads and drinks together was 209. And X plus Y equals 209, and 650 X plus 2Y equals 836.5. So from there, to cancel out salads, we can multiply this top equation by -2. We'll get negative 2x minus 2y equals negative 418, and 6.5x plus 2y equals 836.5. From then, these two will cancel out, and we'll get 4.5x equals to 418.5. Then you can divide by each side by 4.5, and that's going to get you equal to B, 93.